Wednesday night, a win by the New York Knicks sends them to the Eastern Conference Finals. A win by Minnesota sends them to the finals in the West. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
One, two, one, two, one, two, one, two. You ready?
Somebody make some noise in this joint.
KBLA Talk 1580 celebrates its 4th anniversary this year on Juneteenth.
Here we go again.
Hard to believe 4 years has gone by so fast.
Oh my God.
But here we are, still standing, still loving and serving our people as best we can.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
To celebrate our 4th anniversary, we have 4 big events, and you're invited to all of them.
She got a lot to say. Let's do this.
Let's get it on.
On Wednesday, June 18th, we go live on C-SPAN for the 2nd consecutive year with our Climate Justice plus Black Health Symposium. Tavis Smiley will moderate an all-star panel of thinkers and influencers as we continue our vitally important climate justice work.
Hey, Tavis Smiley, talk about.
On Thursday, June 19th, you're invited to join us as we celebrate Juneteenth and our 4th anniversary. There will be plenty of food, fun, great music, good vibes, and all of your favorite KBLA Talk 1580 hosts will be there.
Yeah, man.
Flip the beat. On Saturday, June 21st, there are 2 big events you're invited to attend.
I can't wait to hear it.
This year, KBLA Talk 1580 continues its annual partnership with the Empowerment Congress for a community celebration and dialogue to educate, engage, and empower. This year's theme is resilience in the face of chaos.
Can't wait to see what's up next.
Y'all ain't ready for this.
And new this year is our State of Black Women in Los Angeles Symposium, moderated by Dominique DiPrima, with a luncheon to follow. Dominique will be leading a dialogue with some of the most impactful Black women leaders in Los Angeles, and you're invited to join.
This is it.
All of these events are free, but seating is limited, so you must register in advance at our KBLA1580.com website, where you can find all the details you need about each event.
Check it out.
It's our 4th anniversary, and we would love to celebrate it with you.
I love you guys so much. There's nothing you can do about it.
We're KBLA Talk 1580.
The only black talk radio station west of the Mississippi.
Thank you for having our black.
Happy anniversary, KBLA!
Love you. Love you.
First things first.
First things first, it's the DU General, Money B. I'ma put you up on the schedule, 6 to 9, 8 weekdays, not 2 and 7. Let's go. We got a lot to talk about, so much to pedal through. Unapologetically progressive. Tune to KBLA 1580 to get the mess. We're your ancestors' favorite radio station. First black on talk radio, left side of the nation. Me and Dominique DiPrima go way back. Tavis Smiley making sure the station stays black. Discussing all the issues in our community. We're hosted black and brown and others find unity. So let's talk about it. Maybe we can improve it. Digital underground, always down with the movement. So we tune in. The first things first with the queen of black talk radio, Dominique DiPrima. Go sis.
First things first.
KBLA Talk 1580. Good morning and God bless. I'm Dominique DiPrima. This show is First Things First, and my first thing today and every day, giving thanks, giving praises, and asking for blessings from the Most High, asking for the blessings of the ancestors and the elders. And let's go. Let's talk about it. Let's do it. For those new and those who have been around, this is the way we do things on a Hot Topic Tuesday. This is the day when we debunk, unpack, and deal with the things we say without checking them out. The talking points, the things that land in our head from mainstream media or friends or social media, and making sure that the things we say are actually serving us. We do that throughout the show, and I invite you to join me in that endeavor. This is also the day that we do Hour 1 local, Hour 2 we look national, international, and beyond, and in the third hour we do a hot topic or a deep dive with a person of interest. I'm excited to have in Hour 2 Dr. Gerald Horne, one of the nation's top historians, who is also very, very sharp when it comes to current events, and there are so many unfolding stories around the world right now as we lurch past the first 100 days of this new administration in the White House. So we will have a chance to get his take on many things that could use some clarification. You're invited in every hour at 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. Let's talk about it. Love to hear your thoughts and things. I'd love to hear your thoughts and things in the virtual space as well. You can join me on social media at KBLA 1580 on every platform, like black without the C in the K, KBLA 1580 on every single platform. I'm personally at DiPrima Radio, DiPrima, and then radio. I even have a YouTube channel. Would love for you to like, subscribe, and follow. Doing a lot more on TikTok these days. Miles finally wore me down and got me on that app. And I can see why everybody likes it. In some ways, it's a lot less of a hassle than some of the other apps. It's like they want you to be there. They kind of make things easier. So this morning, I walked to work through what is now a crime scene right here. We broadcast from Leimert Park, Africa Town, USA. Apparently, there was a chase, a car chase, police chase, and that chase ended in a crash at Crenshaw and Vernon about 8:20 last night, according to ABC 7, and the patrol car crashed into a red sedan. So a 30-year-old woman is now reportedly in critical condition. 4 other people are injured, including a 12-year-old boy. Firefighters came on the scene. They rescued 2 people. 2 people that were in that red car had to be extracted from it. 5 people in the hospital. And they are saying that the 12-year-old boy's condition is not clear. Fire department was treating multiple people on the scene, according to Air 7, and the 2 officers got out of their vehicle, which apparently was burnt up. And I, of course, hope everybody's okay, everyone involved in that crash. For me, it's a reminder that high-speed car chases should be illegal. There is nothing, unless that suspect, I'll call them a suspect because that's what the cops would call them, unless that suspect had weapons of mass destruction, it's not worth chasing them. It is not worth endangering the life of a 12-year-old or a 90-year-old or anybody in between for a stolen car or a robbery or any of those things. Not worth a human life. Certainly not worth injuring 5 lives. Why do we still do this? Why is this still legal? to me, it is ridiculous. When you talk about public safety, you have to do a cost-benefit analysis. And wildly chasing people while you get your adrenaline up and pretend you're on Cops, the TV show, it's not worth it. It's not worth endangering the lives of innocent civilians or even not so innocent civilians so that you can chase somebody who stole a car. Now, I don't know why cops were chasing this person, but somehow I doubt they had a nuclear weapon. To me, the only thing that would justify that kind of a chase is if it was a situation where thousands of lives would be endangered if you didn't catch that person. Or hundreds, maybe. No property, not at all, especially now when you can follow someone with a copter or a drone. Even if you lose them, you're going to find them because all of us are living in an electronic soup full of identifying factors and cell phone towers that ping us. I don't understand why we still do this. I really don't understand why we still do this. It should be illegal in every single city and small country town. It's dangerous. It's reckless. It ruins property. And now you got a 12-year-old and we don't know what their condition is. And it is true, as someone just DM'd me, that many times the person still gets away. Many times. Is it fun? I guess it must be fun to drive at really high speeds and get your steroid on, get yourself all worked up. Maybe that's the fun part, but it's irresponsible. And it's frustrating for me because I feel like I've been saying this for years. Actually, I don't feel like I've been saying I have been saying this for years on this mic. Why is this still illegal? It's like we were trying to cure people with leeches in an era when we have other medical advances. We have herbs and vitamins and x-rays and MRIs. Speaking of throwback, yeah, gross. I just thought of the Health and Human Services Secretary taking his grandchildren yesterday for a little dip in the literally up-ish creek. They went to a national park, the creek has been closed down because it's got pathogens and bacteria, and he just decided to take his grandkids for a dip. It's a metaphor for our country in some ways, feeling like we're up that creek. Up Poop Creek, can I say that on the radio? I just did. In any case, these are, when you know better, you're supposed to do better. When you know better, you're supposed to do better. When you have the technology, you're supposed to utilize that to make life safer. Whether it's AI or drones or the technology, whatever it is that tests for aggressive, terrifying, life-threatening bacteria in the But no. 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. If you want to weigh in, LA Times has an interesting article today on the front page about the cost of living. We know that it's high. If you're in Cali, it's high. Anywhere in Cali. But they're saying that if you earn $100,000 a year in Orange County, Santa Barbara County, or San Diego County, you will soon be considered low income. 6 figures now low income in Orange County, Santa Barbara County, and San Diego County. That's according to the California Department of Housing and Community Development, their April report. Now, those are 3 places where making $100K makes you low income, which is not at all surprising if you live in any of these places, because housing is so high. That is the main driver. Because you cannot just get a a place to live. And this is, not a huge jump up. I mean, the low income measure is already 98,850 in Santa Barbara County. So what does that look like if you are making the minimum wage? If 6 figures is low income, what is $15 an hour, $16 an hour? Now, by the way, Marin County, San Francisco, and Santa Clara counties have been past this 100K being low income. So this is just new for Southern California. What's weird to me about it is I don't know how LA County is not on that list. 800-920-1580 if you got something to say about this and other things happening in the left coast, happening in the nation, really, because we are all connected at this point. I'm Dominique DiPrima for Unapologetically Progressive, KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
You really about to do it?
40 acres and a mule. This is bigger than the music.
You really about to do it?
Yeah, they tried to rig the game, but you can't fake influence.
Who among us doesn't like black music? But Kendrick is right. This moment is so much bigger than music. These are serious times. We've got serious problems, and we need serious people who understand that slogans are not solutions. When you want substantial and sober analysis about things that matter to you and the ones you love, this is where you turn. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we've got your black.
Find what you love, love what you find. A total wine and more. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Guides in the know, and price is so low, it just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
With curbside pickup and delivery available, you'll always find what you love, only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Nia.
Hi, Nia. It's Jennifer. Did you know that Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, I work here.
Okay. I was just double checking. Get it?
Because Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, you get me, Nia.
You could say that I double get you.
I guess we've taken it too far.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, a.k.a. the Voice of Reason, encouraging you to join me weekdays from 7 to 9 p.m. for the world's most intriguing relationship radio roundtable. Every night, I facilitate and encourage our loyal listeners to participate in the most engaging relationship discussions you'll hear anywhere. So make it a point to rendezvous with me, Zoe Williams, the Voice of Reason, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Trust me, your relationships will never be the same. The VOR is on fire tonight.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DiPrima right now.
Right now, we're back to me. We're back to you. We're back to KBLA. I'm so grateful that we have this platform to talk about all the things that are going on, to have some fellowship, and to support one another. I'm sorry that I started you off on a crazy note, but walking through a crime scene on my way to work really just, it's upsetting and reminds me, I mean, there's no yellow tape or anything, but it reminds me some of the stuff is so simple that fixing, our promo is right. Slogans are not solutions, but not allowing law enforcement to recklessly drive through our communities and crash cars into other cars injuring innocent bystander. That's not, why is that rocket science? Just pass a law and make it illegal. Yeah. It's mind-boggling. Let's go to Carl calling us from LA. Good morning, Carl.
Hey, Dominique, how you doing? Yeah, we had a lot of those tragedies all back in the 80s, the 90s. They just continue to do what they do with them high-speed chases.
Yeah, but Carl, in the 80s and 90s, we didn't have drones that could follow, a car until it ran out of gas. You know what I mean? We didn't. They did have helicopters, but not to the level of technology that they have now. So why are we still doing it is my point.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's still going on. Hey, but look, the Housing Authority, Dominique, they're doing a good job over there on Wilshire Boulevard trying to keep people in their homes and in their units and stuff. Every time there's an annual, the owners go up on the rent, an extra $100, an extra $150. Every annual costs the city more money, and then it costs the tenant more money. Maybe they should put a hold on these annuals sometime, just having them back to back to keep people in their apartments.
I'm wondering what those must be very new buildings, because we do have rent control in the city of Los Angeles, and you're not allowed to go up. I think it's more than 6% or something. And I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's fairly strict. The rent control, unless it's a newer building, and that's why we need to get rid of Costa-Hawkins. And I don't know why people keep voting that down. I think they just don't understand it.
Yeah, well, they got a lot of emergency housing vouchers out there that's supposed to be turned into regular Section 8 housing vouchers, and they haven't done it since the days of Echo Park, and that's been 5 years, and a lot of people still have their housing vouchers. But the rent goes up every time there's an annual to check the person's unit to make sure it's still functional, and then the owner goes up an extra $100 and charges that to the city, and then the city charges that to the renter. So maybe they could slow down on them annuals coming up every year, because every year the rent goes up.
Yeah. Well, it's not supposed to be that way. I'm not really sure. Off the top of my head, I can't rattle off the numbers, but I know that we cannot impose rent control on newer buildings because of a law called Costa-Hawkins, which we have tried 2 times to overturn lately.
Well, it's a good thing that the Housing Authority is, you got some good people over there on Wilshire Boulevard that's trying their best to keep people in the units. Thanks, Dominique, for giving me time.
Okay, Carl. Thank you for always staying on the issues of affordability and housing, homelessness, and the like. It's a tough thing. I mean, I was talking about these $100,000 low income salaries, and it's because of that. $100, $100, $100, $100 a year times 5 years, your rent just went up $500. And housing is not affordable in Southern California, in the state of California, really. I have family still in San Francisco, and getting a place there, I mean, it's just as bad as here, $3,000 for a 1-bedroom. Who can pay that? So if you're low on income at $100K, what are you at $16 an hour? And how are people surviving? More than one job, fairly uncomfortable housing situations, right? And that's where we are. So something has to be done about that. And I believe it's more disincentives for big corporate landlords to buy up housing, and then more incentives for regular people, ordinary everyday people, to get housing, whether it's single-family homes or apartment buildings where it's owned by one person, who's more likely to be sensitive, less likely to price gouge, more likely to recycle those dollars into the community where they come from, etc., etc. Again, I'm prepping for today's show, and another car chase. This guy is supposedly a carjacker, an armed carjacking suspect. Sheriffs chase that person. It ends in a crash. The suspect, I'm putting air quotes around that because I don't know what they did, apparently rolled over their vehicle. This is at Broadway in Maine, 4:30 in the afternoon. Deputies said that the suspect was driving on the sidewalk and crashed into a patrol car on purpose. Why are we doing this? You're saying like, oh, this suspect was so out of control, they drove up onto the sidewalk. Yeah, but because you were chasing them. And I'm sorry, but a carjacking is not worth endangering the lives of dozens of others. So you chase that person, follow them till they run out of gas. Use a drone. Yeah, they were saying that they're going to charge the person who's apparently now in custody with assault with a deadly weapon on a peace officer, and presumably that means by crashing the car into the patrol car. But again, why are we creating so much danger to abate so little danger? Proportionality in policing has to be one of the basics. Basics. You know, would you let cops shoot 10 people to save one? And then it's discretionary which 10 they shoot to save which one they save? No, that's crazy. It doesn't make sense. No one would agree to that. We'll just allow cops to kill 10 to save one. Their discretion which 10 they kill and which one they save. No one would agree to that, but that is in effect what a car chase is saying. It's saying, to hell with the safety of all of these people between point A and point B. We're going to chase this one person we've deemed a criminal who, we suspect of being a criminal, who has not been convicted in a court of law. We're going to chase them, endangering 10, 20, 30 other people. It's not logical. It's just not logical. Love to hear your thoughts. 800-920-1580. 800-920-1580. I'm Dominique DiPrima, and this is KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. The Broward School Board in Florida is considering cutting 104 campus monitor positions to slash the budget by $65 million, according to board member Alan Zeman.
When we looked at the staffing, we realized that we had continued to increase staffing at a time when we'd lost considerable number of students over the past 10 years.
Despite enrollment declines, security roles have grown since the Parkland massacre. Metal detectors will remain in high schools with changes approved in next year's budget. An early season heat wave will bring record or near record temperatures to the plains, Southwest, and Texas this week, with highs reaching the 90s in the Dakotas and Minnesota and 100 plus degrees in Texas. And a new study in biomarker research found that short-term sleep deprivation, even after just 3 nights, can increase the risk of heart failure and artery disease by triggering harmful proteins. It also reduces the effectiveness of exercise in promoting heart health. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
After all of the grief the Dallas Mavericks went through for trading Luka Doncic to the Lakers, the Mavericks got what they needed to light up their franchise. The Mavericks won the NBA lottery Monday night to get the number 1 pick in the draft. The Mavericks had only a 1.8% chance to win the number 1 pick. Duke forward Cooper Flag, the College Player of the Year, is the consensus number 1 pick. The NBA draft is June 25th at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. Three teams in the NBA playoffs have 3-1 leads in the best-of-7 semifinals: Minnesota, Indiana, and New York. Indiana can eliminate Cleveland tonight with a win. Cleveland is the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. The other Game 5 tonight is Denver at Oklahoma City. That series is tied at 2-2. Wednesday night, a win by the New York Knicks sends them to the Eastern Conference Finals. A win by Minnesota sends them to the finals in the West. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you that we keep us safe. Every girl deserves a chance to shine. That's the belief behind Forgiving for Living, Inc. Since 1999, this organization has been empowering at-risk girls ages 13 to 18, helping them overcome behavioral and mental health challenges. Founder Wendy Gladney's personal journey inspired the mission to give girls hope and purpose through the power of forgiveness. Through their ambassador program, workshops, and annual conference, Forgiving for Living has touched over 3,000 young lives, providing mentoring, life skills, training, and tools for building self-esteem and confidence. You can make a difference. Visit forgivingforliving.org to donate, volunteer, become a mentor, or find help for a young girl in need. Forgiving for Living, Inc., building brighter futures for young girls. Visit forgivingforliving.org today. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Attorney advertising. Prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
Founded in Los Angeles in 1986, litigation powerhouse Quinn Emanuel has deep roots in the Los Angeles community. Since 2007, we have litigated some of the largest fires on the West Coast. We are proud to be the only AmLaw 100 firm in the country to represent wildfire victims, giving affected individuals, families, and businesses the same focus and individualized attention we devote to our Fortune 500 clients. BTI Consulting has repeatedly recognized Quinn Emanuel as among the 4 law firms in-house counsel least like to oppose in any litigation, and we are often deemed the most feared. And after securing over $80 billion for our clients in various matters firm-wide, we understand why. If you have been affected by the recent wildfires in Altadena and the Palisades and would like to discuss your situation further, please contact wildfire support at QuinnEmanuel.com or call us at 213-443-3050. Quinn Emanuel is proud to sponsor Conversation Live Altadena Rising with James Farr on KBLA Talk 1580.
Attorney advertising. Prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
Thanks for starting your morning off with a voice that speaks truth to power and the powerless, getting to the heart of what matters most in our community. This is where authentic conversation meets real action. From breaking news and politics to culture and community solutions, this is where you hear perspectives you won't hear anywhere else. This is where we come together, get informed, and make change happen. You're inside First Things First with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Good morning, sunshine. You make my day.
KBLA Talk 1580 invites you to join the Children, Youth, and Family Collaborative, CYFC, for their 25th annual Foster Youth Awareness Walk on Saturday, May 17th at 8 a.m. at Susan Miller Dorsey High School, 3537 Farmdale Avenue in Los Angeles. This community-centered event brings together advocates, supporters, and youth to raise awareness and resources for foster care programs in the greater Los Angeles area. Please register at Eventbrite CYFC 25th Anniversary Walk. Congratulations to the Children, Youth, and Family Collaborative on their 25th annual Foster Youth Awareness Walk. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Oh man, we got a lot going on locally right now. So apparently today is the day when there will be a hearing on this bill that it's pretty slick. It's a slick way of trying to basically outlaw ethnic studies. So the state of California a few years ago made it where ethnic studies will be required to graduate from high school. You have to take an ethnic studies class. That is implemented by 2030. And since then, there's been raging arguments about what ethnic studies is, who gets to decide the curriculum, what is allowable. So there was a highly unpopular bill that got shelved for now, that was meant to limit what could be taught in ethnic studies. Well, the main thing they're focused on is Israel. Israel. That's insane. And Israel, the Israeli-Palestinian, the really Israeli campaign in Gaza, right? So there's this new measure that Assembly Member Rick Chavez-Burr, Dawn Addis, and Senator Josh Becker, these are all state lawmakers, are trying to push through. Instead of that other bill is AB 1468. They claim this will fight anti-Semitism in kindergarten through 12th grade schools. They say that Jewish students are being targeted over the war in Gaza. And it's 31 co-authors for a bill that is terrible and basically will outlaw any criticism of Israel. What are we doing right now? What other nation in the world is it illegal to criticize, no matter what they do? And now, what other nation in the world gets to dictate what we teach to our children? Now, I'm not anti-Semitic. I don't believe in anti-Semitism, discrimination, or hate. But being critical of Israel does not equal anti-Semitism. In what world? That's political chicanery. It's gaslighting at the highest level. And now these lawmakers want to codify that into our state, our supposedly legal, liberal California policies. They claim ethnic studies has allowed groups with biased ideological agendas to peddle factually inaccurate and blatantly anti-Semitic curriculum. No. Look, I went to San Francisco State, only full school at that time of ethnic studies in the nation. I think there are a couple more now. And every year we had to fight to defend our school of ethnic studies, and it's still going on. This bill would not only punish teachers who mention Israel and the conflict in Gaza, it would also require the Board of Education to create uniform content rules and for state officials to monitor all ethnic studies classes. It's giving the Trump administration in Columbia University, right? We're going to put the departments that deal with the Middle East and Black studies under supervision, like a consent decree, but everybody else gets to teach freely. It's a policing of our history and our politics in a way that no other community has to endure. They're going to be, if this would pass, they would be monitoring the lesson plans to make sure courses don't divide students. We are now, and the thing about it is, like, we're in California, right? This is supposed to be liberal/progressive/blue. If California passes some mess like this, we might as well pack it up. I mean, literally, we are talking about authoritarian monitoring of kindergarten curriculum, kindergarten through 12th grade. And it's clear why this happened. In 2020, we saw young people of all ethnicities marching against anti-Blackness, marching for Black lives. And their conservative parents and grandparents didn't like it. And of course, in the last couple of years, well, especially the last year and some change, you've seen students all over this country protesting for peace, protesting against the war in Gaza. And now we are looking at changing their educational foundation so that they don't have the worldview. They don't have the analysis. They don't understand the concept of systemic racism. Since when did education have the requirement that you can't make anybody feel bad and you can't have debate and division? Now, obviously you don't want racism or anti-Semitism, but you don't need to put ethnic studies under a state consent decree and all actuality, what it comes down to, because you don't want anybody criticizing Israel. If you have time today, call your assembly members, call your Senate members, and tell them no, this is not okay. You know, they're supposed to be having ethnic studies by 2030. Now they're saying they might push it back. Governor Newsom has said we don't have money for that. Well, we passed a law. And so you don't get to skip over this law, you know, and you don't get to skip over this law of providing ethnic studies. Meanwhile, bringing in another law to curtail it. Now they're talking about pushing it back. Because they don't have the budget dollars. Well, if it's our policy, we're going to have to find those budget dollars. And the fact that this has become a battle in school districts all over the state. In Palo Alto, they almost defeated the whole idea of ethnic studies. It barely passed. They call it local divisiveness. Well, you know what? In education, we have to debate concepts up and down, left and right. You know, that's Republican and Democrat. The Confederates and the Union. Is that divisive? History typically has clashes and different perspectives. And that if now Republicans who accuse us of being snowflakes are so delicate that we can't teach the real history without critiquing anyone, we're doomed. That course curriculum did pass in Palo Alto, but apparently last week the Santa Ana School District dropped 3 of its ethnic studies classes because Jewish groups sued, saying they contained false narratives about Jews. Well, then black people need to sue and stop all the history classes in this country, pretty much, because they have false narratives about us. Imagine we're in a place where people with political agendas, people with political agendas, not just racial agendas, political agendas in support of a foreign state, which is Israel, are now controlling the curriculum for students who live in the state of California. That is crazy. That's where we are right now. That's where we are right now, and we need to push back. This is a pushback moment. Hold the line, Cali, hold the line. You can call your assembly person. You can call your state senator. You can call these jokers that have put this bill forward to have ethnic studies police. And in Fresno, apparently, the teachers are mad because their district is slow walking the implementation of ethnic studies. It's right in alignment with the anti-DEI policies of the Trump administration. It's right in alignment with the supposed move to take stuff out of the Blacksonian, the National Black History Museum, although I heard from one art historian that so far those reports have been greatly exaggerated. So far, nothing has been taken down from the museum there. So, worth noting. That's so far so good. However, you can write or call and tell your representatives to vote no on AB 1468. Vote no on this bill, which is basically allowing Benjamin Netanyahu to dictate what's being taught in California's required ethnic studies classes. Make it make sense. I'm Dominique DiPrima for KBLA Talk 1580.
The station you turn to when you've had it up to here with cultural incompetence. KBLA Talk 1580.
Looking for a purposeful and passionate way to make a difference in your community? Volunteer with our Senior Medicare Patrol and help prevent Medicare fraud. SMP volunteers work in their community educating peers about healthcare fraud and how to prevent and detect it. Free training starts soon. Check us out online or at an SMP open house near you. We're on a mission to stop fraud. Join our team. You make a difference. Visit casmpvolunteer.org. Protect yourself from Medicare card scams. Scammers may call, email, or even knock on your door claiming they need your Medicare info, asking for money or threatening to cancel your benefits. Don't fall for it. It's a scam. Remember, Medicare doesn't need to verify your information. They already have it. Medicare won't charge you for a new card and will never threaten to cancel benefits. Check your Medicare statements for suspicious charges and report scams to the California Senior Medicare Patrol at 1-855-613-7080. We're here to help.
Imagine every pregnant person in LA County having the support they deserve. A doula on every block. Doulas provide emotional, physical, and informational support during pregnancy, through labor, and beyond. Medi-Cal now covers doula care. That means you can get the support you need or train to support families in your community. The LA County Medi-Cal Doula Hub is here to help. Learn more and get started today at ladoulahub.com.
Olay Indulgent Moisture Body Wash.
It's me, Olay Indulgent Moisture Body Wash. I see those dry elbows, baby. But don't worry, get moisturized right in the shower. So hydrated you can skip the lotion after.
Don't wanna see it dry no more. Skin so moisturized with body wash.
Look at you now, no more dry skin. Your skin gets the moisture it craves with
Olay Indulgent Moisture Body Wash.
Broadcasting live from Lamert Park, USA. Welcome back to your home for unapologetically progressive radio. KBLA Talk 1580.
Willie Ellis had a great point in the chat about my little rant around these high-speed chases. Jay says he's saying a vehicle kill switch will be mandated in 2026. These vehicles that they're putting out now, that where they can remotely kill your vehicle or slow it down, is really giving Big Brother to me. That is not something I want in my vehicle. I mean, imagine, that's not just for carjackers, that's for activists too, right? That's crazy. We are in some weird, very weird times. Rapper Tory Lanez was stabbed up in prison, apparently yesterday. He was hospitalized. He, of course, is serving out 10 years for shooting Megan Thee Stallion. And what I'm reading the New York Times here, that he was stabbed by another prisoner yesterday morning. He's in Tehachapi near Bakersfield. And apparently he was taken to a hospital. They said both of his lungs collapsed. He was put on a breathing apparatus, stabbed in the back, the face, the chest. That's crazy, Miles.
He tried to get him. Somebody, that's not just I'm not in the jail, so let me not be the one to speculate. That doesn't sound like a run-in with somebody. That sounds like somebody tried to take him out.
Yeah, it really does. It sounds like a hit. Of course, I was looking in many different papers to see what we could see, but they're not saying what happened or what they think happened. I'm assuming it'll come out.
Yeah, I feel like now, though, too, knowing this, though, I'm sure there's going to have to be a thorough investigation. And then, does Tory even return to the same prison? You know what I mean? With
Tehachapi? Yeah, I don't know.
I think that after an investigation, I think the state would be liable if they know that he's in danger and they send him back there and something happens to him again. So
stabbed 14 times, 7 stabs in the back, 4 in the torso, 2 in the back of his head. And 1 to the side of his face. He's lucky he lived through that.
Oh, yeah. Collapsed lung. What?
Yeah. They're saying he's in good spirits, speaking and breathing on his own now. That's amazing.
Yeah, he just dropped his album last month from prison, so, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, his fans are going crazy. Because Free Tory Lanez was already trending.
Yeah, no, now he's like 50 Cent level after he got shot. Type stuff now, so yeah, he's big bad Tory Lanez today.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, the thing that I know, Miles, and I don't claim to be an expert either, but I've visited many prisons. I've talked to lots of people that do programs, anti-recidivism programs, and folks that help prisoners, is that even if they transfer him, he may not be safe.
Oh, no, for sure not.
If it's a group within the prison a certain group, whether that be a gang or an ethnic group or prison alliance of some kind, they often have members in different prisons.
Right. Also at the same time too, Tory is in Gen Pop, you know what I mean? He could try to PC up, you know what I mean? He is a celebrity status. He does have a little bit of money behind him. So, yeah, I'm not an expert either, but I'm sure there's some way Tory Lanez can go about not getting in this same situation again if he chooses not to.
Yeah, meaning that they may put him in one of those more bougie lockups or let him serve time with the ankle bracelet, or I don't know. I don't know. Well, I hope he's okay. It sounds like he is. I hope he stays okay. Prison is not where you want to be if you can avoid it. I'm not an abolitionist of law enforcement, but I do wonder about the role of prisons because they don't seem to rehabilitate anybody. They seem to perpetuate racial divisions.
And nor do they seem like they're aiming to try to rehabilitate anybody. You
Right.
know what I mean? It's like you're the opposite of of rehabilitation.
Yeah. I would like us to get more sophisticated. And you're talking to a woman whose family, well, my sister, was murdered. And that man that shot my sister and her girlfriend through the heart fatally is in a prison. And I'm not going to lie, I was happy to see him go to a prison, but I doubt it's cured him. Yeah, another local left coast thing that I wanted to point out. Yeah, they're in the chat saying it's not 14. It's not AB 1468. It's 715, and I did see that. It's the same thing. To make it easier to charge teachers with anti-Semitism, which really they mean anti-Israelism. They really don't mean anti-Semitism. That's a no. Anyway, Governor Gavin Newsom is now calling on cities in California to outlaw homeless encampments. And to me, this is more of the governor's pivot to the presidency. He says he wants cities to make it illegal to have homeless encampments, banning tents, camping on sidewalks, bike paths, parklands, and all other public property. Not only is this a hard pivot to the right, it is what a lot of us have been concerned about with the Olympics coming, with the World Cup coming. This idea of cosmetically fixing the problem without really fixing the problem. I didn't realize half of the nation's unhoused people live in California. That's insane. We are a big state, but not that big. The New York Times says that's because of the mild climate. I don't know. I know I've seen data that show most unhoused people are homeless near where they fell into houselessness. So not that many people are migrating here. Let me go to Cali and be homeless. 187,000 people statewide. Living in tents, cars, outdoors, or literally just on the sidewalk. Now, the governor can't force LA or San Francisco or whoever to use his ban, but he can punish people that don't comply by adjusting who gets what of that $3 billion state housing money. So the governor has leverage here. And if you think about it, it's literally like saying we must make poverty illegal. How can you make poverty illegal if you do not bring resources? What you're really doing then is outlawing and criminalizing humans, human people. you're right, B-Bell. That's what it is, criminalizing being poor and homeless. If you outlaw encampments and you outlaw sleeping on sidewalks, what are you saying? Stand up somewhere until you die? Because that's what will happen if you never get any sleep. It's a hard pivot, and it's just get it out of sight and out of mind. What does that mean? If you outlaw encampments, it means that you are now illegal just by being on the street, just by having nowhere else to sleep. They're not going to take these people to apartments. They're going to put them in jail. They're going to put them in jail, and you and I are going to pay more to house them in jail than we would have in an apartment or permanent supportive housing, which enables them to get a job and build a life and become independent of the system. I think it's a terrible thing. I do believe that they're going to see some pushback. It's tricky, though, because everyone's trying to get elected, and so many Democrats now are making these calculated moves based on what they think makes them electable to conservative Democrats or so-called convincible Republicans, which I think is a fantasy. To me, that's like the Easter Bunny, bipartisanship, Santa Claus. They all go in that same category at this point. That we're going to throw up our hands and say, let's get these people out of my eye line. And I think this is something that we as humans, have to push back on. Just like I was talking yesterday about my brother, Mayor Ras Baraka, being detained by ICE. He's a sitting mayor. He's a U.S. citizen. He's a black man. And he was not doing anything illegal, unlawful, or even questionable. He was doing his job as the mayor. If you can just detain people, if you can just outlaw people, what we're really talking about is going back in the direction of mass incarceration. I say back in the direction because we never really left it, but when we started working on this care first models, alternatives to incarceration, we started moving in the right direction. Now we're in backlash. And we have to hold the line, California. News, traffic, and sports, and then we'll be talking with Dr. Gerald Horn on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. The Broward School Board in Florida is considering cutting 100. Alan Zeman.
When we looked at the staffing, we realized that we had continued